What did I get from Mike Hanley? I got, one, a shining example of what you can do with kindness and strength. Two, I got this person that exchanged and discussed. I learned from that. Not only learned, I was inspired. I wanted to know more. We talk so much about what needs to be done, and often we forget to celebrate what is being done. And this guy's done some great stuff.
I hired him as the daycare director for United Neighborhood Centers, and that's at least 45 years ago. Well, actually, I knew him because his mother and I worked together. So I had met Mike as a young man with his mother. Dawn Brennan and I approached Mike when she had approached me about retiring. We'd like you to be the executive director of United Neighborhood Centers, and it's all history.
So Mike was close to my mom, maybe got some of that skill from my mom, watching my mom manage 40, 50 foster kids.
I was in elementary school when he started. He worked at Westside in the kids program in the evenings. That's when he started, and then from kind of then on. Before then, he had a painting business. The Hanley Family Painting, I think it was called. The vans in our backyard. We still have some of the ladders. So he does not appreciate house painting unless it's for me every once in a while.
He definitely involved us in everything. I mean, I can remember coming not to this building, but to the building next door and sorting presents for Christmas, for their Christmas toy giveaway. That was like a yearly tradition that we did like the Sunday before Christmas every year.
Even before he started at United Neighborhood Centers, my parents were always involved in the community and the church when we were younger and helping other people and different social justice organizations and stuff like that. So I think that was always a part of his life. It just became more his job as well.
Mike, I think, had just started at United Neighborhood Centers. The executive director around that time was Dawn Brennan, and I had met Mike through Dawn. And like I said, we've been fast friends ever since.
It was one of the new buildings that the UNC had converted when they were just starting to get into the housing piece of what they do. He was waiting on the steps. As I approached, I thought, wow, he's very distinguished looking, right? And I thought, this man is, he's totally relaxed with who he is and what he's about. The way he conducted himself made me think, yeah, I would like to be on this board.
Dawn Brennan was the director, and he was in charge of the Bellevue Center, and I lived down the street from the Bellevue Center, and we actually had the Women's Resource Center volleyball league there. He was running the gym. We were playing volleyball.
He was very calm. He was very, matter of fact, and obviously very passionate. And you can't work in the world of community development without having passion or compassion for the community. And that was Mike. I mean, he showed me the way.
I know Mike from before I worked at United Neighborhood Centers, where Mike was part of an organization called Fellowship of Reconciliation, which his wife and myself co-chaired at a time before I worked at United Neighborhood Centers. And knowing him, that kind of gave me the intro into United Neighborhood Centers, where when I was in grad school, I interned there, and then it opened a opportunity was available with UNC, and I jumped at it.
Yeah, another board member introduced me to him and said she'd really like me to think about joining the board. And I wasn't quite ready to jump into any board affiliations in Northeastern PA because I hadn't lived back here in many years. But she said, I think, you should just meet Mike, and maybe in 6 months or a year or 2 or 3, you'll be ready to join the board. And it's about a week and a half I became a board member.
I've known Mike for a long, long time. I would tell you that it goes back even to my days of working at PNC Bank. That's got to be in the early 90s. What I really appreciated about Mike was that he grew in his work to more progressively responsible and sophisticated development.
Every time I've met Mike Hanley on like the few occasions that we've run into each other, whether it be some big events and big fundraiser, it was always positive. He is a really like chill guy, and I think when I was a kid, like, oh, here comes like the director. You're like, hi, Mr. Hanley, and he's like, oh, I'm just Mike. Just call me Michael. It's fine.
The Women's Resource Center and UNC have a very strong partnership that's been in existence for a couple of decades now. At the beginning, and it still exists today, I think the common bond that the Women's Resource Center and United Neighborhood Centers have, and Mike and I, is to really fight oppression in this community. They say that healthy communities are measured by how well we take care of disadvantaged individuals, and I think that that's something that our both agencies have as a real strong value.
He's incredibly dedicated to this area, very willing to work with just about anybody, any organization, and I think the success of United Neighborhood Centers under his tutelage just goes to prove how effective he has been as a leader. I have said this many times privately, I'll say it publicly. If there was a problem, a new program, if there was an initiative that we were undertaking, 9 out of 10 times the first phone call I would make would be to Mike Hanley, because Mike never said no. Mike was always one that was willing to try something new, was to try something that was innovative, as long as the benefit was going to be helping the community, helping the population that he served.
I think a lot of people might be aware of the emergency services, the shelter, the food, the clothing, but they might not be aware of community health, of our youth programs, that we run senior centers, and that we actually build and develop housing.
He had the vision of knowing that if you could provide affordable, safe housing for people, that you could begin to break the cycle of poverty. And he began to work very hard in that direction.
Even the building we're sitting in here now was refurbished under Mike's leadership in the Progressive Center, again using state support and other dollars, because it's never one source that funds every project. Mike would always know how to navigate the landscape.
I mean, I think people can be jaded, and Mike helps people have an open mind to see how, I'm very fortunate in what I have, and there are others that that need help. And Mike has a way of, opening up our hearts and our minds to see the need and understand what we can do to help.
Complicated man. He's smart. He has a wonderful sense of humor. He's Irish. He can't help it. He's a family man. He loves what he does, and that's the thing that I enjoy the most about him. He is passionate about every single project that UNC undertakes, and I think it shows in the people, in the organization, and in the people he helps.
I think if you are the face of any company or organization and you're making an effort to the people that you're serving, like we're looking at it like, oh wow, he actually does care. He's not just the face. He's like, okay, what do we need for you guys to be successful here at this program? And I think that's really important for us to see, because we're like, oh, okay, so we should keep coming. We should try to get our friends to keep coming to this program, because it's actually very important and it makes a difference for a lot of us.
I feel honored to follow in his footsteps and continue this tradition of work that we've done, to continue to improve the lives of others at this work at the agency. I think it's a gift.
My brother and I think have even had conversations of that, like how do you live up to that kind of person or that kind of example that he set for us. I think that's something that's a real gift that he gave us and gave, my children and just anybody who kind of meets him or comes in contact with him. He definitely leads by example.
The legacy is, all the people in the region that he's helped over the last 30 years, and all the people that are going to be helped by what he's done, for years to come.
Mike, as you retire, I hope and pray that you recognize what a tremendous gift you have been to the poor of this community. And I know that God blesses you for that.
I'm going to miss working side by side with you in this community to help the less fortunate. And I really hope you have time to relax and enjoy yourselves and your grandchildren.
I want to express my deep gratitude for all of your hard work over so many years, touching so many lives, improving so many lives, and your unselfish, professional, capable stewardship of UNC's mission.
I wish Mike the best in his retirement, and I hope to see him around a lot, and I hope to continue the good work that he started.
I'll never forget working with you. I'll never forget the good times we've had. I've never forget the counsel you've given me, and I will never forget the good work that you've done for this community. Thank you on behalf of all those people that you've helped.
I want to thank you for everything that you've done for me, helping me to become so involved in community development and helping me learn the business that I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for your help and guidance.
Here's a kid that grew up and you added your color and you gave me an example of hippie plus academic. What's that, a hackademic? Thank you, Mike.
Enjoy your second act and don't worry about anything here.
Best of luck in a well-deserved retirement.
Thank you for always being a great example to Sean and I and to your grandchildren. And thank you for being a great dad.